Let's go right to the big board. National political correspondent for NBC News and MSNBC, Steve Kornacki, got his 15 minutes of sleep, and he's back with us now. Steve, let's start with the Senate race. Boy, look at those numbers. What's still out there? Who has the edge?
Yeah, having flashbacks here to November 2020 and that week after the election when it all came down to Pennsylvania and we were waiting on mail-in ballots. And I think that's where this story is going to wind up here in this Senate race here. You see right now, statewide, Oz's lead over McCormick sits just north of 2,500 votes. That's 0.2%. One thing we are still trying to nail down from some of these counties, it appears there may still be some same-day vote. That is to say, some election day vote. Folks who went out and voted at the polls yesterday, still to be counted in some of these counties. Not a ton, but we think there may be, for instance, some remaining in Delaware County. This is a big one right outside of Philadelphia in Dauphin County. This is where Harrisburg, the state capital, is. Next door, this is in Cumberland County, where Carlisle is. You can find pockets throughout the state where there may still be some same-day vote to be reported. So we're trying to nail down exactly how much there will be there. The same-day vote, basically, when you add it up together cumulatively across the state, Oz and McCormick were basically splitting it. I mean, it is basically close to a tied race right now. And so when you get through that, however much is left there, we're trying to nail that down with these counties this morning first thing. Then the other thing that we do know is there are a number of mail-in ballots that have yet to be counted. Now, there are some counties in Pennsylvania that came into yesterday saying, hey, we have mail-in ballots. We're not even going to look at them until the day after the election. There are a few counties that said that. A place like Mercer County in western Pennsylvania made that statement. Other counties said, well, we've started to count them. I'll give you an example here. Luzerne County said, we've started to count them. Last night they said, okay, we're going to stop counting for the night. We're going to resume counting those mail ballots tomorrow. So there's more votes to come. You can see, like Oz, for instance, is doing well here. So we're not sure exactly how many mail-in ballots are remaining, but if you used as a number, say 20,000, trying to write that number down here, 20 is what that should look like. If you use about 20,000 mail-in ballots, and again, that should be a zero there. I don't know if that looks like 20,000 to anybody
Close
at
enough,
home, but
Steve.
let's say that's 20,000 votes. I think the key is this. In the mail ballots that have been counted so far statewide, McCormick is running 9 points ahead of Oz on the mail ballots. So if you had 20,000, give or take here, we're trying to get the exact number here, but it might be somewhere in that ballpark. There would be an opportunity there for McCormick to make up probably, if it's 9 points, not all of that gap with Oz, but he could cut severely into that gap with Oz, because this is one of the things we've been seeing in Republican primary after Republican primary this year. The Trump-endorsed candidate, in this case Mehmet Oz, has been doing worse with the mail-in votes than with the same-day votes. So if you've got a batch of mail-in votes that are uncounted, we see McCormick doing better with them here in Pennsylvania. We've seen candidates like McCormick doing better with them in other states before this. So there is an opportunity there, I think, with however many mail-in ballots there end up being, an opportunity for McCormick to cut into that Oz lead. And finally, just the key here is this: wherever it does end up, Pennsylvania law is within half a percentage point difference between the candidates. Recount. It's 0.2 of a point right now. And again, there's some possibilities on the board here for Oz to add same-day vote. There's some possibilities here for McCormick to add mail vote.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, I'm looking at the Pennsylvania map. I'm comparing it to the Ohio map from a couple of weeks ago. And Dave McCormick fits the bill of, say, Matt Dolan in Ohio, a guy that's more of a Main Street Republican, a guy who's very successful as a business person. And we saw how horribly Dolan did in rural Ohio. I must say, looking at the map, I'm a bit surprised. McCormick did extremely well in rural Pennsylvania. That is something that I don't know how many people would have predicted beforehand. But again, if you look at the trend lines, how well did Trump-backed candidates do in rural Pennsylvania? Oz underperformed greatly. McCormick did extraordinarily well.
And what did Barnett have to do with all that?
Yeah, and perhaps Barnett took some votes away from Oz, but also same-day voting. When McCormick was ahead by thousands thousands of votes after the mail-in voting. I thought, oh, gee, Oz is going to overwhelm him with all the same-day voting. But I must say, McCormick showed a lot of resilience that I just haven't seen from candidates not backed by Donald Trump this year. Do you have any insight as to why he outperformed in so many ways?
Yeah, it depends where you're looking. There are some regional differences in this race. One thing I think is we were saying, was there going to be an east-west divide? Because one of the things they do in Pennsylvania is they put the candidate's home county right next to their name on the ballot. And McCormick used Allegheny County. He's the only candidate to have a Western Pennsylvania home county on the ballot. So that was one of the things we were looking for, was in Western Pennsylvania, would there be a boost for McCormick? And you could see McCormick, a lot of these Western Pennsylvania counties did very well here. That home county dynamic, I think, also came into effect. Look at this. The one place where I think people are most surprised to see maroon for Barnett on this map is right here in Montgomery County. This is one of the biggest, most high college education density counties in Pennsylvania. This is one of those suburbs that's been trending more and more Democratic. Barnett lists Montgomery County as her home county. Oz lists Montgomery County as his home county. Barnett and Oz running 1-2 in Montgomery County. So I do think there's a geographic element to it based on the home counties folks were using on their ballots. But yes, Oz in rural Western Pennsylvania, McCormick in rural Western Pennsylvania, in central Pennsylvania, put up some good numbers. The other thing that jumped out at me is if you go to northeast Pennsylvania, you know who's doing real well right there? It was Mehmet Oz. Take a look at like Lackawanna County, where Scranton is. Mehmet Oz by double digits here. Wilkes-Barre, Hazleton right around here. Again, Oz putting up good numbers here. I was looking at our spreadsheet. We were trying to track this based on Donald Trump's performance in the 2016 Republican primaries. Trump swept Pennsylvania in the 2016 Republican primaries, but it's really the only competitive Republican primary Trump ever ran in Pennsylvania. And if you index this vote to Donald Trump's performance in the 16 Republican primary, the places where Trump got the highest share of the vote in the 2016 primary, Oz is doing the best in those places. So I think there was a boost for Oz. But again, that doesn't mean it's going to be definitive here, because statewide, as you could see, this is how close McCormick has made it.